I really believe that now that we have the beginnings of what appears to be Middle East peace, I know nothing's guaranteed, but it looks really, really, really good. In fact, let's start out with Donald Trump and how he was interrupted today for the right reasons from a note from Secretary of State Rubio as he was in the Oval Office live on television, and you had the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, speaking. Here it is.
Well, they're smart, but they're not smart enough. Oh, my microphone's broken. Departments to find the criminal conspiracy.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just giving. Yeah, I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly.
Beautiful moment. And I truly believe that if Hamas knew that this is how it was going to end, that it would be right here, right now, almost exactly 2 years to the day. It's 2 years and 1 day, I believe. If Hamas knew this, I don't think they would have done it, because they're going to be out of power. They're going to be a gadfly. They're going to be an ant bite. They're going to cause pain and terrorism like Middle Eastern countries have to deal with and like we have to deal with, but they're not going to be in charge. And I also believe that Iran never would have done this. They funded it. This couldn't have happened without Iran. Iran never would have done this if they knew it would have turned out this way. There's no way. Their nuclear program has been crippled and destroyed to the point where they cannot have, I know they've got some fissile material, I know there's some other things lately that have come out, but they cannot build a bomb, and they are delayed by years. And if they ever get close in the next 4 years under Trump, he's going to bomb them again. They lost their capabilities. They have nothing to defend from the air. They're completely, totally vulnerable, a cockroach on its back. They both would not have done this if they knew this is how it was going to end. With Arab nations, with Trump being the head of a 20-member peace panel or peace board, Trump's in charge. With Tony Blair, I know a lot of people don't like him. Don't worry about that. I trust Trump in this. With Tony Blair being one of the people also being in charge of this underneath President Trump. With these Arab states and Arab nations, I should say, guaranteeing their security, they're going to do security there. Hamas will not be ever again. They're going to be relegated to the dustbin. They're going to be. I'll just make a prediction of a tiny terror entity in there. So that's number one. Second of all, John Fetterman, one of the very few Democrats to tell the truth, is praising Donald J. Trump tonight, Wednesday night. Senator Fetterman becomes the first Democrat to congratulate President Trump on the first stage of his peace plan with Hamas and Israel. I congratulate President Trump, Fetterman says, on his historic peace plan that releases all the hostages. Now enduring peace in the region is possible. Hamas never would have done the attack if they knew this is how it would play out. Iran never would have done it. Trump is now considering going to Egypt. He didn't rule out a visit to Gaza. That would be unbelievable. The 20-point peace plan that I mentioned, it's not 20 people on the board, it's a 20-point peace plan. Trump will chair a board of peace that will oversee the interim governance of Gaza. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair will also play a role in that effort. More than 67,000, now listen closely, I'm going to caveat this beyond belief. More than 67,000 people in Gaza have been killed. These numbers are from Hamas, the terrorists themselves. They called it the Gaza Health Ministry. That is Hamas. They don't tell you which ones are civilian, which ones are terrorist. The overwhelming number of them are terrorist. This is what happens when you put in an administration, you vote in twice an administration that says in its charter to wipe Israel off the map, to kill every Jew, to commit genocide of the Israeli people, which is and the Jews on this planet, which is exactly what they're doing. They're the ones doing genocide, not the Jews, not Israel. And here's the message tonight to the 67,000 dead, whether you're a civilian or not, and their relatives. Don't F with us. And when you do, and I say us because I speak on behalf of America and Israel, don't F with us. We'll put you in the frickin' ground. You want to play? We'll put you in the ground. No problem. All the hostages, as you know, are going to be released dead and alive. The alive ones by Sunday. The dead ones will take a little more time. And Trump's going to put a bullet and a bomb up their butt if they don't do exactly what they're supposed to do. Clause 17 in this peace plan from Donald J. Trump, who will and should win a Nobel Peace Prize. I'll be shocked if he doesn't win a Nobel. I'll be surprised. I know that they hate him so much. They hate him over everything. Everything, the very existence of everything is the hatred of Donald Trump for these people. But I think that he's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize out of it. He has to. He's going to freaking do what no president has been able to do for 30, 40, 50 years. Those 4 years in between terms, God made him a better and better and better president. He's the best president. It is insane. Gosh, do I love this guy. And thank God we can relish. I'm being very serious here. Thank God we can relish 3 years and 2 more months. And by the way, hat tip to my friend and my pastor, Dr. Robert Jeffress, tonight. He knew something, and many people have. They saw something in Trump that I did not see. I always disregarded him, always thought he was a joke. I wasn't a never-Trumper, but I always disregarded him, thought he was a joke as far as his candidacy. And then he won in 2016, and boy, did I fall in love with him. But this time it's deeper. It's a deep love because this guy is at his best. He's now at his best. He was born for this freaking moment. Get goosebumps. Clause 17 of the peace plan says even if Hamas refuses to sign the deal, the U.S., together with regional partners, will establish independent civilian administration to manage the large areas of Gaza that have already been cleared of Hamas fighters. An international peacekeeping body consisting of Palestinian and Arab forces will support the new civil administration, ensuring that Hamas never regains control. So this is awesome because all these Arab nations are going to put their troops in there. They're going to keep the peace. Not Jews, not Americans. They're going to keep the peace, but we're on the board and we're at the head of it. It'll be Arab and Palestinian forces that support the new civil administration, ensuring Hamas never regains control, and Israel will withdraw its forces from those areas. God bless President Trump. He did this. And Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, who's Jewish, are absolutely the people that closed the deal with Trump officially closing the deal. He always likes to close the deal, and they love it when he does because he kicks ass and takes names. Excuse my French. Hey, how are we doing in the polling under President Trump right now? Let's go to Harry Enton from Fake News CNN.
Is Trump doing what he promised in the 2024 campaign? Yes, 52%. The majority of Americans say that Donald Trump is doing what he promised compared to 48% who said no. So what essentially is going on here is the voters expected all of this from Donald Trump. The majority did, and that is why his favorable rating, simply put, has not really moved all that much compared to where it was a year ago. Trump is basically doing what the American people thought that he was going to do. Indeed, if you look at the numbers, Trump has basically the steadiest favorable rating this much through a presidency of any president on record, and it's basically where he was a year ago, good enough to get him reelected.
The stability and ratings more stable than any president ever before. Now, here's something else too. I love this. He gently beats the crap out of fake news, CNN, and MSNBC. Listen to him today. This is so great.
All right, go ahead.
In the ceasefire.
This is CNN speaking, by the way. So,
are you personally
this is one of the worst reporters that you'll ever see. I don't even want to take a question. It's a waste of time. Go ahead. MSNBC is dying, and CNN is dying like a dog.
And
Poor CNN. It's so pathetic.
it is very
You ever see their anchors in the evening that nobody ever heard of them? Where did these people come? I could take anybody off the street in Washington, D.C. that do a better job.
I love him so much. God bless this guy. Laughs hard. I pulled that just because I laughed so hard. There's a few more. We're going to hear a nice little super cut that I personally put together of Katie Porter, the nut job, who threw hot mashed potatoes on her husband's face. They call her Katie Potatoes. I think they call her Katie Potatoes. Or Potatoes Katie? I think Katie Potatoes. Let's look at some of the numbers with Trump. Harvard-Harris poll just came out. His, by the way, it shows 18 out of 20 of Trump's policies are winning. The people want them. They say, this is what we voted for. This is who he is. 18 out of 20 of his policies they love. They love him. Look at this. Harvard-Harris Caps poll on illegals. Are you here illegally? And have you committed a crime? 26 points up. By 26 points, people say, yes, get the hell out of here if you're an illegal who's committed crimes. Number two, if you're simply here illegally, committed no crime other than coming over the border, by plus 12 margin, people say, yes, we want you deported, even if you committed no crimes. This is why the city of Chicago, Brandon Pritzker and Brandon Johnson are wrong. You're going to hear from sound bites from them in a minute. But so 12 points, it's 12-point margin. Yes, the American people want the illegals deported, and by a 26-point margin, criminal illegals want them committed crimes in addition to their crime of coming here, 26%. Closing the border, 26% of Americans, 26% plus 26 approval rating, if you will. So does that make sense to you? I'm making it more complicated. By 26 points, people say, yes, close the border, use policies that discourage illegal crossing. This is what I voted for, and this is what people expect of him, and this is what people want. Winning, winning, winning. Use the military to prevent illegal immigration in the U.S. by 10 points. Yes. Use the National Guard and active duty military to police American cities and stop crime by 2 points. Yes. It's not negative. It's not underwater. It's up by 2, and that's really good considering how that one can peeve off some people. So everything, winning, winning, winning. And look at the crime in D.C. In the 54 days the prior year versus the 54 days this year with Trump having the surge of the feds and the guard there, crime has increased by 25% in 54 days from last year to this year, comparing the exact time under Trump and not under Trump with the military. 25% crime decrease. Can you imagine that? Crime decreasing by 25%? How could you possibly be against this? Also, the arrests, they're making 3.1 arrests per hour in D.C. 3.1 arrests per hour, including screaming illegals that are child rapists, that the people like, what's her name on the 5, the liberal lady on the 5 are saying it's horrible. And Univision television for 24 hours are saying this is horrible. Look at this guy. Watch all these screams. And the next day they just disappear because they know he found out he's a child molester, child rapist. Okay, speaking of someone who's got just... let's do Brandon Johnson. This is... I just pull a few little cuts for different reasons. Here's Brandon Johnson today. This is great. Listen to this.
It's certainly not the first time that Donald Trump has called for the arresting of a black man unjustly. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay firm.
So he also called for the arrest of Pritzker. Is he a black man? Are you not realizing that he called for your arrest and Pritzker's arrest? This is why he's a dumb mayor. With that horrible, like, teardrop, my dad calls him Conehead, with that haircut like this. It's like, you know what he reminds me of? When my son, he's on the other side of the house. We can't hear me. This is it's not soundproof. Soundproof is like $200-300 to make it. But this is very, very, very sound dampening, this awesome studio that God provided for me. But my son, when he was little, and he would admit this too, he had this Gorilla Glue, and you put it in your hair, and he had it was like Ed Grimley. His hair, it was spiked like this at the front only. He's a kid, he's like 10, 8, 12, I don't know, somewhere in there, and they eventually stopped doing that. This is what he reminds me of my son who was 10 or 8 when he liked that hairstyle. But this guy's you a grown ass man, and he's doing that now. Virginia. Speaking of people with have horrible stuff they say and think, the Virginia Attorney General he fantasized about putting 2 bullets in the head of the former Virginia Republican House Speaker. He also fantasized about his children, murdering his children, the Speaker's children, calling them little fascists. And he also, according to the same Republican woman that had the information from the text and got the text, also said that he said if a couple cops got shot and killed, they might think twice about how they treat others. So he's fantasizing about killing his Republican opponent and his Republican opponent's children. He's fantasizing about murdering cops. And also he was speeding, I think, I can't remember. I told you yesterday, it's like 51 miles an hour over the speed limit on the highway, and was sentenced to 1,000 community hours. Half of those community hours, 500, he did for his own political campaign, which has to be illegal. This guy's just a puke. Here's the latest polling. This is really good in Virginia. And I'm grateful that Spanberger, the gubernatorial candidate, the Democrat, won't renounce him. And I'm grateful he's going to be on the ticket because he's going to cost them votes. And this is this is not a, what do they call this? I can't remember the exact terminology, but you know how the A lot of people do not show up at all. Low voter turnout unless it's the presidential election, right, or the congressional election. This is neither, so it's an off-year election. I think that's what it's called. There's always low turnout, which is great for the Democrats. However, this guy's approval rating went from plus 4 points. His polling versus his Republican candidate, the current AG of Virginia. This Jay Jones guy was up 4 points. The guy that fantasized killing people was up 4 points in a poll a month ago. Now he is down 2 points. So he lost 6 points so far. Also, his unfavorability rating. Listen, his unfavorability rating skyrocketed by 24.5 points. His unfavorability went 24.5 points up. Democrat, this is the fun. You have to hear this. You have to know this. Democrat senator from Virginia, Tim Kaine, says, "Oh, he's a great guy. He was horrible what he said, but he apologized. And I've known him for 25 years. He's a great guy." If you've known him for 25 years, Tim Kaine, that means you knew him when he was 11 years old. Were you hanging out with an 11-year-old when you were a grown man? Were you? You've known him since he was 11? He's lying. That's the obvious answer for that. Let's play a Katie Porter supercut. This woman, I think she was a congresswoman, and then she tried to steal Kamala's seat, I believe, and now she's got one of those faces. It's like a Wisconsin a farmer lady who got hit in the forehead with a shovel, like a flat shovel. Wham! Gosh, is she nasty to look at. She's just really hard. I wouldn't be saying this, but she really is hard to look at. She is not easy on the eyes. She's got a massive, hulking, flat forehead. But she is a miserable person and a really nasty, mean person. I'm going to play 3 different audio sound bites, and we're going to have fun listening to this. Katy Perry is the gubernatorial candidate to succeed or to take on the term after, what's his name? Gavin Newsom. Let's find this little supercut. I personally put this supercut together. Here we go.
500,000 Californians dying prematurely.
This is where she's doing a live interview from her home, and one of her workers is behind her walking around, and she's going to stop the interview and say vile things to her.
To air pollution and other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't make the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot.
These are miserable people. This is Katie Potatoes. She's the one that threw the hot potatoes on her, I think, ex-husband's face.
Okay, so on election night.
This is her, which one is this? Oh, this is her on the set of some TV place in California and saying, when you are so radical leftist and you brainwash your 12-year-old girl, this is what happens.
I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion?
What? What are the odds of your daughter getting raped? And then if they, this is when you get raised by a lunatic. These are the things your daughter says. I'm going to rewind it 10 seconds.
This is from a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter. And so it was really a reminder of how scary this time is for people. I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And
now this is the one that's made the rounds everywhere. This is an interview from, I think, yesterday with a journalist who asked the same questions from the same people running for governor. And she cannot handle this. I'm going to rewind it a little bit so you can start from the beginning. But this is great. You've seen this one, but this is truncated. Listen.
I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation.
She's a child.
Which you ask me about every issue.
Is she going to throw hot potatoes on this lady, too? Is she going to play? I would not play the game hot potato with her.
I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And we're
Porter.
just going to circle around.
I am an
I have
investigative
never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
She's freaking nuts. I love this. Yes. I kind of want her to win because we'll have so much great times. Oh, wow. She's freaking nuts. She's a personally miserable, nutbag, crazed woman. I mean, that's really my assessment. Who throws hot mashed potatoes on their husband's head or face? I mean, wow. Okay. Her. She does. Oh, this is great. I'm going to show you. There's another sombrero meme video. I have the picture of it. I'm going to get video on this soon. That's my next step. But Trump put a sombrero on Hakeem Jeffries' head in the middle of this back and forth. Mike Lawler, senator from New York, so their districts are their districts are probably a couple miles apart from each other. I don't know, but Lawler's in suburban New York City, and Hakeem's in New York City. And so Lawler, being a Republican, stands outside, and he's got the continuing resolution, the CR, which is like 26 pages, saying, "Why don't you sign this?" So he gently confronts him in front of the press as Hakeem's coming out, and then a quote unquote pissing match ensues. But I'm just gonna show you the sombrero hat. I'm gonna show it to you now. I'm gonna reveal this is the sombrero. Look at that sombrero hat. Woo! This is a massive one, and it moves when he moves perfectly with the head, not like the ones that the Democrats have done that are lame. Here's Mike Lawler and Hakeem Jeffries. Here we go.
It's a clean extension for 1 year.
You voted for the one big
Clean
ugly bill,
extension.
correct?
I voted for a
The
tax cut
largest-
bill that gave the
the
largest
largest
tax
cut-
cut
the
to
largest-
Americans in history,
the
including, by
largest-
the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing.
Isn't this hat great?
You want to
yourself right now.
cut the standard deduction in
The
half? Is that
largest
what you
cut
wanted
to
to do?
Medicaid in
No, we
American
rooted
history.
out
You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the
You
way.
voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New
Let me
York,
ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2
If
billion
you were-
It goes on and on, but don't you love that hat? Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. It's on my Twitter feed. You can see it for yourself, and you'll laugh your butt off. It's so awesome. They just need to add some mariachi music to it. So, and by the way, the Obamacare subsidies are for the wealthy. I've told you this before, but you need to know this. It's up to 400% above the poverty level of subsidies. That's COVID crap that happened that Biden put in under COVID when people didn't have jobs and couldn't work for 6 months or whatever it was. And they're trying to extend COVID area things. Literally, that would give in the state of Phoenix, in the state of Arizona, if it would give a family of four earning up to $600,000 a subsidy that we would pay for on their health care. Somebody who makes $600,000 a year probably drives a Porsche Cayenne and probably lives in a 5,000 square foot house. That's fine, but I am not paying your dang insurance. They're calling it, Lawler calls it Obamacare subsidies for the wealthy, which is exactly what it should call them. Guess what caused the Pacific Palisades fire that killed 12 and ruined 6,000 homes? Well, if you listen to the Democrats, it was climate change. Climate change. Gavin Newsom, climate change. Joe Biden and all the Democrats, Kamala, climate change. No, it was a Biden donor that burned down and caused the Pacific Palisades fire. A 29-year-old man who literally donated twice, $1 each, but he donated to Joseph Biden's campaign in September 4th, 2020 and September 11th, 2020. He allegedly recorded videos on his phone of firefighters attempting to extinguish the blaze that he allegedly caused, according to the authorities. He also allegedly asked ChatGPT if a person was at fault if the fire is lit. I'm sorry, if a person is at fault if a fire is lit due to cigarettes. I think he meant lit. ChatGPT reportedly said yes. You don't need to ask ChatGPT that question. James Comey today pleading not guilty, to his charges of lying to Congress. The one thing I wanted to say, his start date of his trial is January 5th. It'll last 2 to 3 days. Both sides agree that's what's going to last in front of the judge. And I'm going to just say this. This is very good, and this must never, ever, ever, ever happen again. And I'm not under some illusion or whatever, a delusion that will not happen again. But the more people that we can lock up and put in jail. Where's James Clapper? well, so many people that I could mention. They need to be charged and put in jail. Comey needs to go to jail. Whether he does or doesn't is not the point. They need to go to jail. That's where they belong. They lied to Congress, among many other things. They destroyed the FBI. They're destroying our country from within by weaponizing this. So they must be charged and thrown in jail for what they did, or this will continue to happen. This is how a country gets destroyed. Never again, not out of revenge, but out of holding people accountable for destroying the FBI, for making up fake stuff. Hey, by the way, let's do one more thing. That's the obvious. Let me play one more thing. I got to play. I almost forgot. Jimmy Kimmel is mocking prayer. Are you surprised? Jimmy Kimmel, who said he was a Catholic boy and he cares and, oh, I'm crying. He wasn't crying for Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's wife and kids. He was crying for his own self and his own career. And he said he was Catholic and he cares so much about stuff and his values and beliefs. Is that why you mock prayer?
Our Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he said Republicans are praying it'll be a very short shutdown, which is good. That'll help prayer.
Mock prayer. I don't mock prayer. In fact, I don't pray enough. Lately, I have not been praying enough for everything. Every single need that I have, every single worry that I have, every single thing that I hope to get to hope to have happen and this and that, I pray, and I don't do it enough. And you should pray too, and I don't think you're doing enough either. Every time you have a worry that comes to your mind, every time you have something on your heart, every time something comes up, just remember to pray. And you can pray with your eyes open. You can pray sitting at a dinner table. You can pray while you're driving. It does not matter. There's no specific way of doing it. Just do it. Just do it. And don't forget the power of